Well, obviously we're here at the Chief Constable's Awards, and I'm with the Chief Constable, Mr. Roberts. First of all, it's been another fantastic year for policing on the Isle of Man, hasn't it?
We recognise some fantastic stuff today, officers who've gone above and beyond. So we don't give them certificates and cups just for doing their job. We recognise people who've done really brave things, who've done really outstanding things that have just been outside what's expected. And why this is really important, why it's really special, is for the impact it has on the families. So officers who get certificates for saving lives, their families really appreciate that, but the families of the people who are in crisis often have written in to say, you saved my life and I'm grateful, or the life of my loved one, and that's what it's all about, I think.
And do you think sometimes it's the families of officers that are forgotten quite a lot of the time when they're dealing with people?
I touched briefly at the start of today about the importance of families. So for police officers, family's important because families keep them grounded and families look out for them and look after them. And families really get their reward sometimes by seeing their loved ones being recognised, and that's really critically important, and today was good for that, I think.
So when you speak of like community and policing, where do you see the Isle of Man police going in the next sort of 10 to 15 years?
It needs to be even more community focused. It needs to have more and more people almost embedded within the community who live in the places that they police, who are part of the places that they police, people who are known to all the school kids, who are known to all the elderly people. That's what neighbourhood policing should be like, and there are parts of the island where that's the case. You know, Paddy Moore, for example, a constable in Douglas, got 3 certificates for saving lives, separate events this year. He's better known than I am, and that's what constables should be like, and that's what neighbourhood policing should be.
Some would argue though, that neighbourhood policing has seen a massive fall over the past couple of years, and we saw it especially in Oncombe. We lost the police station and there was a rise in antisocial behaviour from young people. Do you think that currently neighbourhood policing is where it should be on the Isle of Man?
No, it's going to change and come back a bit. We're going to do a restructure in the autumn which will put more people into neighbourhood policing, and neighbourhood policing of the kind where they're not being taken away to interview people in the cell block, they're not standing at road traffic scenes steering cars away. They're just doing neighbourhood policing, and neighbourhood policing isn't a simple easy thing, it's quite a hard edge thing, so it will range from dealing with kids in schools and building that trust and rapport, but through to knowing who in your community is vulnerable through domestic abuse, knowing who in the community is using drugs, knowing who's about to start offending and stopping them from offending. So it's big stuff, and it will change, and it won't be a success overnight, but it will occur over 2 or 3 years.
I think I'm right in saying in your report this year the crime detection rate was 49.6%, I believe it was. Do you think the police are doing enough though to deal with drugs, so Class A possession? Are you going after the right amount of people, or is it just the same old characters you're going after? You know you're probably going to find something on. But
the focus is on the people who traffic in drugs. So we will arrest people who have possession of drugs, and most of those people go on to a referral scheme where they're not prosecuted. So we focus on the dealers. But sadly, some of the dealers do fairly lengthy terms of imprisonment and then come out. I mean, there are a couple from Liverpool who have previously served sentences for drugs importation, and they're on their second sentence for that now. And we'll keep going after those people because they won't stop, and it's a relentless activity.
Does the amount of drugs that we're seeing on the Isle of Man, and it is increasing definitely year by year, does it not sort of show that there's failures in terms of other like social care systems and other areas of the government that aren't dealing with these people properly in terms of the victims of drugs? Well,
drug trafficking is about money. So it's a lucrative business, that's why there's drug trafficking. So there's demand for it, but it's a commercial activity, albeit an illegal one. What you say is really interesting, because if you look at the horror stories we hear about policing in England and Wales, the demands on policing there have increased astronomically because those social services have gone, because there are no youth workers, there are no social workers, there are no mentoring schemes for young people. So all of these things are withdrawn from the community, and the police become the agency of last resort, and they pick up the pieces. And a police service in England that's much smaller than it was can no longer do that.
So on a sort of a happy, I suppose then, we've seen a lot today about really amazing work from constables on the Isle of Man. If you had any advice to any aspiring constables or special constables for that matter, what would it be to them?
It's a wonderful career, and we have people who are enormously proud to do what they do. And policing isn't, usually highly paid if you're a constable. People don't do it for the pay, they do it because they get something from it, and it means a lot to them when they help people. And today we had our cadets here, members of the voluntary youth scheme, and they are brilliant because some of them will come on into the constabulary proper when they reach 19, 20 and so on. And we've already got a handful of constables and special constables who've been in that cadet scheme. If you want to do it, that's the way to join.